Hi, friends. Welcome back to Adobe Live. My name's Ryan Selvey. I'm very excited to be joined by Colton Kooker today. It is Cooker, right? It's not
Yeah,
Kooker or whatever.
it is
I,
Cooker.
I
You
feel like you have
nailed
a
it.
pretty
First try.
straightforward name. You don't have to deal with
No,
the common like weird like Colton and Cooker are very like it is what it is, right?
I
Uh,
don't know, man. We get lots of like Cooker and like Cookie and
oh
Coker.
yeah, that makes sense. I'm sure you probably got Cookie growing up. But
But
for
you nailed
anyone
it.
that's meeting you for the first time, do you want to just give a quick introduction to yourself?
Yeah, great to be back. It's been a few years since I've been on Adobe Live. I think last time we were talking about like motion graphics for a band promo, but today we're talking about the all new color mode in Premiere.
Oh, great.
So I am the founder and owner of AV Creative. We're just a small editing animation studio in Denver, Colorado. Um, and I'm not a color professional, but I am an editor, animator, producer, do a little bit of camera work here and there, which I think is how a lot of people in this community are kind of video generalists. And so
Yeah.
we're going to be able to show you how to get good color without being a total pro, but still
And I
look
think
like a pro.
that's the whole point, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think a lot of these tools now are really obviously there's always going to be a lane and an avenue for people who are like, I am the full time colorist. I am the full time, like, this is my
Yeah.
full passion. But if social media and vertical video short form content has taught us anything, it's that like now everyone has to at least have some sort of understanding of video. So
Yeah.
it's nice to be able to adapt it to the masses. And then also, yeah, if you're willing to just learn something here or there, I feel like you can get caught up to speed real quick. If it's all right with
Exactly.
you, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna share your screen here. And we're looking at a beautiful mountain in Premiere. We're in um, the trenches of this teaser Final O2, which Final O2 is funny, but we're here.
Right. Yeah. I just duplicated it for this stream.
Sure. Yeah, okay,
So,
cool.
yeah, we are in Premiere Beta. So, worth noting that if you want to try out these features, you have to download the beta. And what we're going to be working on today is a documentary trailer for a documentary. It's actually the first documentary I ever shot 2 years ago. We
Oh, cool.
flew to Ireland and England and we drove all around searching for fairies. And
Yeah, all
it was
right.
really
Did you find
fun.
any?
Well, you'll have to watch the movie to find out.
Where can we
Um,
watch the movie?
so it is not out yet. We'll
Okay.
have an announcement later this year for when you can stream it. So
Are you able to reveal the title?
yes, the title is Fae Folk: A Search for Connection, and this trailer is actually already dropped, but we are going to recolor it. Um,
I'm also
and
glad
let's
that you
just
have a subtitle, so that way, or like a subheader, so that way, if you want to do another one, you can still have the Fae part at the
yeah,
beginning.
right, exactly. And this might be multi-part. We'll see. We
This
we
could be part of a
filmed
trilogy,
so
man. This could
much.
be your beginning.
It was like 16 days filming 8 hours a day. I mean, the amounts of footage was just insane.
Oh, how many memory
So
cards did that take?
I mean, it was several hard drives. We were just refreshing the memory cards every day.
Okay,
I don't know if you
makes
know, but it's
sense.
really hard to get memory cards now with AI taking them all. So,
Yes, there's a big shortage of processing and memory cards across the board. The thing that is crazy about them though is they are way faster now, which is cool. You can obviously shoot in like 8K, and there's not
yeah.
much lag there. But yeah, no, getting your hands on them is hard. By the way, we are live on YouTube and Behance. So hello to everyone in the chat. If you guys have any questions, we have Dino, we have Winter, we have a Francisco from a different account that I've never seen before. So who knows if that's Paco or not? It might just be a different Francisco.
Francisco.
But good to see you guys here. If you guys have questions about stuff, comments, compliments, please by all means throw them in the chat. I will make sure I relay them. But we're just going to be looking at this new color mode. It just got announced yesterday, so all of this is new to everyone. There are no dumb questions. By all means, throw them in the chat.
Yes.
But I'm stealing your thunder with your trailer, so do we want to check it out?
Yeah. So I think let's just start by watching it. It's under 2 minutes long. We can get a sense of what we're going to dive into. So keep in mind that this is not, I mean, obviously it's not color corrected yet, and this is shot in log footage, so it'll look really flat, but that's what we're here to correct. So I'm just going to play it and then we'll talk through.
In a time where things can be a little dark and depressing, this idea of there are beautiful, wonderful things in nature. I was looking for that spark, and to me, that spark is magic. And so I already had fairies on the brain. People are talking about it, people believe in it, people are open to sharing. And so I was like, okay, it's time to explore. And of course, this was before I learned all of the things about what fairies actually are. You see the landscape and you understand magic. There's something else going on here. I think we all need magic. Maybe that's the lesson. Maybe that's what I'd confront. Maybe that's the point of this whole experience. I had to redefine myself. And that's the first time where it went from like what I'd read or what I'd seen to actually breaching to trying to make a connection.
Coming soon.
I wish I had an applause effect that I could play right now.
Yeah.
It was fun. I'm invested. I want to see the story unfold. We had a bunch of handheld shots. We had a few drone shots.
Yep.
It looks like you guys had a full amount of gear. Excited to see the little fey doors, which I know are present around the world. Like I know a lot of there's some places that they're on like the bottom of every tree, so that was cute. Nate wants to know if this is in the UK or Iceland.
This is all in the UK. Yeah.
Okay.
So we traveled around Ireland, Northern Ireland, England, and Wales. We drove like 2,000 miles on the wrong side of the road. We tried really hard not to hit the curbs, but they didn't stand a chance.
Also, you're getting some really applause in the chat as well.
Nice.
People are saying it looks good. From Winter and McKenna. Hi, McKenna. So right now we just take a quick look at it, and now we're gonna hop into it.
Yeah. So when you're running gun on a documentary, there's often exposure issues because you're just trying to capture stuff as fast as you can.
Yeah.
You'll see we have several cameras. So we shot on Sony FX3, DJI drone. And then we even have like one GoPro shot in here that I think the director had captured as we were running across this field.
That's great.
So we are going to dive into the color. So what is color mode? It is a whole new piece of software inside Premiere. This is not Lumetri 2.0. This is almost like, if anyone remembers SpeedGrade back in the day, it's almost like reintroducing a whole new thing inside of Premiere. So now we have this new tab, color.
Yeah, and so hop over there, just right up at the top, you now have import, edit, color, and export, and color then brings you to this whole new module. We are hanging out down here on the bottom right of the screen. If I ever get in the way of anything, I'm going to keep an eye on it to make sure that I don't. But if I am in the way of stuff, by all means, please spam me in the chat, and I'll make sure that we move out of the way. But yes, this is the new thing. Back to you.
Yeah, exactly. We will be talking about some features down there in a little bit, but we'll get to it. So whole new layout. I mean, this is completely new. You can see all the real estate they're giving the program monitor, which is really nice. It's not just the tiny thing up in the corner. This is our new clip grid view. And I love this because this is taking all your clips from your sequence, putting them in order. So as you're color grading, you can see how they look next to each other, which was something that was always a struggle before. You're like scrubbing back and forth to see what your clips looked like.
Yep.
We can
and also their relationship to each other with colors. There was previously the one where you could go into a mode where you could have a reference frame and then the other frame. But then, to your point, it was like you didn't get to see them in a gallery sense or a film strip sense. So this is nice to be able to compare at scale.
Yeah, this is just like a really good use of real estate.
It's free real estate.
We can... so I'm already noticing we're not going to be color grading the graphics. So I'm going to go back to edit. And I'm going to hide the layer that the graphics are on. Come back to color. And since this eyeball, see, we might want to move
Oh, we're in the way. We're gonna get
let's
out of the
move
way.
it to the upper left.
I'm gonna move to the upper left. All right, here we go, guys. You guys ready to fly away like fairies? Woo!
All right, cool. So this eyeball icon down here, we can now show or hide the layers that are hidden, which is really nice. We know we're not going to need to color correct the graphics. We can actually filter all of our clips. So say we didn't want it to be in order of the sequence. We wanted it to be in order of when the clips were shot. So like the clip time code. So then we'd be like grouping all the cameras together, for example, or like days together, because maybe our edit actually isn't in chronological order.
Yeah.
For today, I'm going to leave it with the sequence order. And then
And that's
here's
just
our
so
new...
that you get that chronological kind of back to back, right? And then just using the sequence as a means to, I don't know, that is canon, that is gospel.
Yep, exactly. We can just keep an eye on it, making sure everything's looking good together. Okay, coming down here, these are called our operators. And this is kind of replacing layers and adjustment layers, but we'll get back to that in a little bit. Like I said, this is like a whole new way of thinking about color grading, so it's best to not even really compare it to Lumetri too much, or just get
Like apples to
confused.
oranges.
Yeah, this is just like, think about it we're starting from scratch here. So down here are new tools. You know, you recognize contrast, exposure. These would be the sliders in Lumetri, but now they work a bit different. So for example, now you click and drag up and down, or left and right. So vertical and horizontal movements do different things. So on contrast, up and down is how much contrast you're applying. Left and right is where your pivot is. So this is where the contrast is separating from.
Okay.
If we want to just quickly turn that on and off to see what it's doing, we've got the eyeball. That's awesome. Reset, easy. And then down here, we have our selection filters. So this is like, we just want to affect the shadows. We're just going to bring the shadows up. I mean, this isn't what we actually want to do. I'm just giving you an example. Or the highlights. Maybe we want to just saturate the highlights. So a couple things that I like to do right off the bat is come into our settings. And let's talk about the heads up display. So all of these vector scopes, or all of these scopes, are actually smart scopes. They know which one is best for which tool. So saturation's your vector scope. Contrast is, what's this one called? Histogram or something. I'm blanking.
Histogram, that tracks. I feel like that's
That one. Yeah, sure.
we're gonna say yes. We're gonna say yes and move
Yes.
forward.
All right. So if we want to come into our settings, when you first load up color mode, it actually anchors to the program monitor. But I didn't really like this because it's covering our footage. So
Okay.
I was like, I don't know. I mean, even if you make it smaller, you're still covering footage. So that's kind of a weird default setting. But if you switch it, you know, you could do freeform, move it wherever you want. But I really liked it to anchor to the control panel. So wherever you're affecting, it puts up the scope right next to it, whichever tool you're using. And I think size 100 is great. You can also come in because the sensitivity is a little bit weird as you go up and down and left and right. So you can affect that in your control options. Just keep that in mind. Okay. So I think we're about ready to dive in. And the big
also,
thing
we have a
here-
question in the chat that's asking, are you trying to get a specific type of emotion with a color grade? Yeah, because you could go many different ways with this documentary. You could go with fantastical, saturated, bright. You could go with like the you know, we're going underground, we're revealing the phase. You could do a more muted, kind of like very serious kind of take to it. Are you looking for a specific type of emotion?
Yeah, so what we did previously on this trailer is went for a really dark and moody vibe, and it was really cool. I really liked it. But today, I'm thinking we go for more of a whimsical, colorful vibe. I mean, you know, like Ireland, it's all overcast, and it
Yeah, it
is
looks
moody.
cold. It definitely looks
we
cold
can-
with what we watched.
Yeah, we can bring out some color, I think, and I don't know, try to bring a little magic into this today.
Okay. I'm
All
down
right,
for it.
So I mentioned the operators. So we can affect clips at the clip level, the sequence level, or a group level. So this is really cool because rather, previously when we were color correcting, we'd put like an adjustment layer or a layer of lumetri. Then we'd have to like copy, paste attributes, the bane of every Premiere user's existence,
Right.
trying to like, once you want to make an adjustment that affects all the clips, you're like, oh man, do I have to click each adjustment layer? Like, how are we going to do this? Now we can tag and group clips together and automatically adjust them. This is my favorite part.
I love that. Love a good organization trick there.
Yeah.
I get real messy real quick in all of my programs. So anything that we can use to combat that is helpful.
So if anybody here has worked with log footage before, the first thing you need to do is convert from log to Rec 709. And this is also the most confusing part of color correction. I see people mess this up all the time, including myself for many years.
Yep.
So while converting to Rec 709 is the first step in your process, it actually comes at the end of the chain of correction tools.
All right.
I'm
Can
going to
you
show you
explain
what
that to me?
So it can be tempting when you're in Premiere to use the input LUT, but this is actually not what you want to do.
Okay.
What we want to do is group all of our clips together. So let's grab all the drone clips first. So I can just, anything that in my clip view says DJI, I know is a drone. Going through, I'm just command clicking to grab them all.
Which would probably be control probably on Windows. Would be my guess. But also don't hold me to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't used Windows in a long time. All right.
And also, guys, I'm going to try to kind of zoom in and zoom out on some of these features too. So just let me know if you need a clearer picture of anything. I will, as default, zoom back out to full screen. But when we zoom into some more details, just holler if you need to see something closer.
Cool. So as we selected those, you might have noticed that this selection operator came up. And it says 11 clips selected. We're going to hit plus button, and we're going to add a LUT to selected clips. So this was the DJI, the drone, and we're going to add a conversion LUT for the drone. So in my project, I have an assets folder. I have my LUTs, conversion LUTs, DJI. If you want to go grab conversion LUTs, you can go to ericlens.com. This guy has like a conversion LUT for every camera. They work amazing.
Okay. What'd you shoot on, by the way? So this is the DJI.
This is the Mini 3.
This is the Mini 3. Okay. There's a little baby drone, right? It's like the size of like a softball.
Yeah, it's 249 grams, which is just under the 250 limit that causes lots of issues for taking them on airplanes and getting licenses.
Literally 1 gram under. They knew what they were doing. They were saying, okay, like we're going to just go straight up to it. We're just going to kiss it.
Yeah.
So that's hilarious.
So we had to get drone licenses to fly in all these different countries. It's kind of funny. Okay, great. So that applied our LUT to group 7, and we're going to call this drone. So now we don't have to like go place an adjustment layer everywhere there was a DJI. We just automatically applied them all. So now let's grab all of our Sony footage. So this is all the ones that say FX3. And you could filter and search by these, but since my timeline's short, it's quicker for me to just click them.
Does anyone in chat have a drone? I would love to know. I've thought about getting one. Also, I'm going to transition real quick to here, just show you where this. So this is in the bottom left that we've kind of. This is what we did previously, but I know it was a little bit tinier. So it's just down here with this plus mark at the bottom left of the screen, and then from there, that's when you're able to add the LUT to the selected clips, right? And it says that in parentheses it says 14. So you highlighted 14 of them, and now we're able to then see that change reflected in your timeline or your reel, I guess. Your strip.
Group those all. We named it FX3, and then we're going to apply our conversion LUT for the FX3.
You have so many. I mean, I guess that makes sense, right?
3. Yeah. You start collecting them over the years for sure. All right. And then we also had one more camera. There was the GoPro, but that was not shot in log, so we're not going to worry about that. All right. So now
can GoPros even shoot in log? I feel like they can't.
Not that I know of.
Yeah,
We
I know
use
they're
it as,
announcing a new one soon, but I don't know if that one's
oh,
gonna have
really?
log. They brought it to space. There were a few on the Artemis, but that's neither here nor there. I derail you. Keep going.
Nice. Okay. So we have all of our conversion LUTs done. So I just want to quickly show you why you want to have the LUT come after your clip adjustments. So let's find a clip that's overexposed, like these clouds here. Okay, so clear overexposure, we want to bring back a little bit of detail. So let's add a adjustment. So this have contrast and exposure. Select the highlights, click on exposure, and I'm always tempted to point at my screen. I know you guys can't see where the screen is, but at the top here, you can see that we have hard clipping. So we're trying to just drag that information down until we gain a little bit back.
Can
So
you
we're
tell us
actually
what
not-
hard clipping means?
Hard clipping is when the information goes past the point of no return. So it turns it all white rather than any detail. So you can see that hard line at the top of this meter. That
At the
is
top of the
clipped in.
graph here.
So when I pull down on the exposure, I'm not able to bring any of this information back. But I'm clicking off this, resetting. If I move the adjustment to before the conversion LUT, and now click on exposure in the highlights, as I drag down, you can see information coming back. Now, not all of it, because there is some hard clipping going on just in the clip itself. But can you see in the clouds, some of the clouds have come back?
Oh yeah, you can see some streakiness, especially. We're kind of in the way, but I'm going to hide us for just a second so we can take a look at this. You guys can see that, especially on the left side of the composition, you can start to see those clouds kind of come back from the distinction of the blue behind it.
Yeah. So some of this cloud was just too white, too bright, and it did get clipped, but we were able to save at least a little bit of this definition.
Okay.
So again, just changing the order of that, all of a sudden it would be completely gone. This is just all blown out. So that's why it's important to have your conversion LUT after your exposure and contrast adjustments.
Because otherwise you might have lost that information.
Right. Yep.
And once it's gone, it's gone. Although I will say the color edit can work in non-destructive ways, which is great. So when you're applying a lot of these to a bunch of different clips, it's not like it's editing the clip itself. It is editing in a way that you're able to go backwards if you need to.
Totally. Yeah. And that's what's really cool about color mode. So, all right. Going over my notes, made sure I went through all the big new changes.
Yeah, it's a lot to get through. Also, while you're doing that, I'm going to say Dino is in the chat saying that they are, coming out with a new, I think, GoPro, I think the 23rd of this month, and it's called Limo, and that he wishes that they had a GoPro that recorded in log, but who's to say if they will or not? I mean, that'd be crazy different advancement for it, but
yeah.
What are the
It's
benefits
cool.
of shooting in log? Why do you shoot in log when you go on these documentaries?
Literally to do what we just did, where you can save the clouds,
Mhm.
or not just clouds, but like anything that's overexposed or underexposed. You just have so much more flexibility. Log provides more dynamic range, more stops. So I think the FX3 has 15 stops of dynamic range when you're shooting in log. If you did not, you would be committing to the contrast in the camera, which sometimes we do if it's not for a feature length documentary and you're just
Right.
quickly like event footage, going to a conference for a client and you're shooting the event. That's not really necessary to do log.
Nate is wondering if you ever mask the sky for the background or anything to be able to isolate it specifically if you're like looking at
Yes.
just the sky.
Yes, totally. So color mode does not yet have masks. That's something that I think is coming. But what you would do for now is just these selection modes where we could just grab, here, let me do that again. So if we wanted to just add a specific zone, we could sample these highlights and then you could see there. Oh,
Nope.
Sure.
We'll allow it. We'll allow it to happen.
We'll forget that for now. But as you drag and hover over these, you can see what part is selected. So
Gotcha.
that grabbed all of the sky basically, plus their hair a little bit, but we could adjust it later.
Just everything that's kind of illuminated is showing you what's selected in that selection, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, gotcha. And also we're with these like mountainous regions while you're like shooting out, were there a lot of other people there, or was it just you guys?
There were not a lot of other people there. We
Not a
met
lot
some
of
really
people.
interesting characters along the trails.
Yeah.
For example, let me scroll. So this is like a cave that's like basically a gateway to hell, kind of. It goes down really deep and it's really creepy and scary.
Uh-huh.
And there were like some teenagers there that were
Of
there to like
course.
explore, and we got to interview them, ask them if they believe in fairies, what they've heard about. And they had heard of fairies. Basically, everybody there had. It was really interesting. All right, let's keep moving. So, the other trick for getting started, when you're trying to make your initial contrast and exposure adjustments, a really cool tip is to add a sequence level adjustment and bring your saturation. Sorry, this is going a little bit slow. Bring your saturation down to 0. So this is turning it black and white. And it's easier to make contrast decisions when it's in black and white. Because if your image looks good in black and white, it's definitely going to look good in color.
Nice.
I don't know if that's always true, but for this context, it is.
No, I
So we
think
can-
for a lot of accessibility too, it's important to be able to not get distracted by saturation, because sometimes saturation can make things feel more contrasted, but then
Yeah.
once you actually view them in black and white, you're able to see the values rather than the saturation.
Yeah, exactly. So I just increased saturation. I bumped up the exposure. I think this is looking pretty good. The clouds look white, the cave looks black, and then we have all this mid-tone information. So we can just toggle select, turn off the black and white, and now we're in a better spot. Let's come over to the clip. So I'm toggling between each level. So we know we have the drone level that affects all drone shots, sequence level affects everything in the timeline, and clip level is just the clip we have selected. So when I was making the exposure adjustments,
Oh, so it's like the left-hand column here is kind of like columned off into 3 different divisions, right? So you got clip,
yeah,
drone, sequence, and those are ones that you created earlier in the show, and they're kind of populating over there now.
yeah, exactly. And I just caught myself because I had applied the exposure and contrast effects to the sequence level. So I just undid those. And now we're back at the clip level to make our adjustments.
Okay.
So we're increasing contrast, trying to get back to where we were. See, I pushed a little too far. You can see that clipping at the top.
Oh, that's why it kind of just flattens out.
Yeah. And it's okay if certain areas do clip because, you know, in real life, certain things look pure black or pure white.
Mm-hmm.
But for this shot, I think this is looking a little bit better. We're just making little micro adjustments. Okay, now we can go back and turn off the black and white. Come back to our clip. And since today we're going for more magical vibe, maybe let's bump the saturation up a little bit. And the greens can get out of control really fast. You'll notice when you shoot out in the forest or in a field. So we don't want to overdo the overall saturation, but what we might want to do is just grab the sky. So now I'm over here in our color shift tools, and I dropped the blue, so now it's just the blues selected, and now we're going to bump the saturation for just the blues.
Ooh, it's crazy how much that was able to transform the image that we were even looking at too. It's like it really just came to life in a way that got rid of that dreariness.
Yeah. So let's say we wanted to just make the grass red. Not that we would actually want to do that, but we could just select there, come over to hue shift, drag it over to the pink or the red. So you can see how quickly in this new color mode, you can just really make some crazy creative decisions.
Really
really
just
fast.
because, just because we can doesn't mean we should, right? But then again,
Right.
just because we can. Maybe we should, definitely, absolutely.
We should. So one thing
Everything's
I
just
did,
gonna look like Mars.
yeah, yeah, this could be a Mars documentary. I did mention the detail before. So texture, these are like micro contrast as you go up and down. I almost never use that. And then sharpness. Sony cameras are already super sharp, so we wouldn't really want to make it sharper, but this is a quick way to actually blur it as we drag down. So that could be useful.
And actually, also, if you could hover over that again, I'm going to zoom in here. But the thing that's interesting about each of these controllers is that the way that they display information and show you what you're adjusting is all dependent on what you're actually messing with. So like in this case, even though it kind of looks similar to the graph, it's just because our composition is actually similar to the graph and the idea of what we saw before. But you can see here instead that it's actually giving us a breakdown of white and black on top of the actual composition. And that is very helpful tool by tool.
Yeah, I love this heads up display. Just seeing it right next to the tool, immediately getting visual feedback. It's really nice.
I started a poll in the YouTube chat if fairies exist. And right now we're at 100% yes. So if you guys want to fight that out, make sure you hop over onto YouTube. We would love to hear it. I'm also seeing in the chat that they're just saying, yes, fairies definitely do exist. And then Reverb Mike was saying, welcome to Mars. Nate says the dark side of the moon and green cheese. Also very excited about how quick everything is. Yes, because you can easily just switch out and you can pivot and make something look surreal in a matter of seconds, isolated. And I know you asked about masks, but for a lot of this, like even the selection of it might get you there even without the need for a mask.
Right.
But obviously anything is made with a collection of tools. So you can also always hop back over to anything else and mask if needed.
Totally. So I'm just kind of going through some of our clips, just making some adjustments. Like I said, I like this guy to be a little more saturated, but I don't want the grass to be any more saturated because it's already kind of crazy.
Crazy grass.
So here's something worth noting. These sequence level effects. So, the only one we have right now is the black and white. But when we go back over to the edit tab, we can actually select which layer the sequence effects get applied to. So right now it's all of them, always on the top track. But say we had some graphics up at the top that we didn't want to be applied to, we can move this down to track 3 and now our graphics stay above these applied effects.
Can you pull that up for us one more time? I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so that the audience can see it if they're on a smaller screen. But just by doing that, how are you getting into that menu?
I'm just left clicking.
Cool. And then you have the options to switch between each one or all of them, or at least always on top.
Yeah, and always on top is probably most of the time what you'll use, but it's worth knowing that that's there.
Yeah.
One more thing worth knowing is the color adjustments are actually popping up in your properties tab. So say you are just in an edit and you want to just quickly make some adjustment and you don't need to go all the way to color mode, you can just do a quick adjustment over here. Like bring up the contrast, just for an example, but we're going to stick in color mode. You can see.
I also know that we weren't comparing to old Lumetri, but I feel like that it has a lot of resemblance of the Lumetri color dials and control previously of just having that side thing. Nate wants to know what sequence of effects are.
So sequence effects are effects that apply to the entire sequence, so every clip. So what we're using sequence effects for right now is this black and white trick to work on our contrast throughout the clips. We could also apply a LUT to the entire sequence. We can apply a style. This is something we could check out real quick. Let me turn off our black and white though first. So say we wanted a quick style. Adobe has all these pre-made presets. I mean, they're calling them styles. So like cinematic low contrast, warmest. And if you apply this at the sequence level, it goes to every clip. And since that's more of a vibe and not a correction, that would make sense.
Yeah, it's more of a filter gallery, if you will.
Yeah, filter gallery. So we could also come up to the modules and apply something specific like a film color. So they have film stock emulations we can go through. This is very intense. So I might
Yeah.
click this and bring it down. And these are very specific contrast curves that apply to certain film stocks and give it that filmic look. Now, this is kind of tricky to mess with because first you need your correction done very properly before this will look good. So
Yeah.
that's good to come at the end of your workflow.
You definitely don't want this to kind of be your base, because then when you start affecting everything else, it's going to push everything way too dramatically and probably get really messy really quickly.
Yeah. So we're going to delete this for now.
We got our first no, fairies don't exist. So we're at 80 and 20% now. But wait until you see this documentary, then we'll have another poll after that. So
I will say I went into the trip definitely not believing and left very unsure. So
hey, that's a
I'll
spoiler.
leave it there.
Thank you for the sneak peek. Nate is wondering for the quote unquote filter gallery, which is not, that's not necessarily official terminology. That's just what I'm kind of calling it. He's wondering if you're able to adjust those filters. Can you like go on and modify them at all?
Yeah, you actually can. So let's say we added cinematic medium contrast. So this allows you to go in and see all the modules that it applied to get there, and you can turn them on or off. You can affect them. Like let's say this was shifting the color too much. This was just affecting reds, and this shot doesn't have reds, so that's not too big of a deal. But yeah, does that make sense? Turning all these off, we have no effect. Turning on the tools, we have the style.
And then if you click those three little dots underneath this cinematic medium off on the left, are you able to then, yeah, you can copy that style and you're able to then take those affected changes and add them to other things, right?
Yeah, exactly. So since this is on sequence level, this is already affecting everything, but maybe we just wanted it to be on the drone shots. We could just drag that over. We could copy and paste it.
Yeah, that was
You
actually
can
really
see
cool.
them
I didn't
moving
realize you
these.
could drag it like that.
Yeah, these are almost like tokens, and the order here definitely matters. So it applies them from left to right.
Okay. So I was going to go clip, then in, oh no, you're talking about the LUT and then cinematic media. So we're not talking about the columns of the different categories.
Yeah,
You're talking about the tags underneath each of the categories. Got it.
yeah, we're actually talking about both. So it goes from left to right, both in terms of columns and the tokens or tags.
Oh, okay.
So the
So
order does matter here.
so clip is
Uh,
always going to have hierarchy, and then it's
Yep.
going to then move its way down. Got it.
And that's why we want our LUTs to not be at the clip level.
Seeing a comment from Nate saying, "What do you mean by tokens?" I think he mostly means like they're kind of like tags or
Yeah.
like what could it be like layers? Not
Yeah.
layer styles, but like
They basically are layers. Token just means like this chip, this box that we can click and drag around.
yeah. It's nice to be able. It's like modules that are able to be moved around, kind of like blocks, and then those blocks affect different things, and it has a more tangible feel to the idea that you can snap it around a little bit.
Yeah, it's really visual, which is really nice for creatives like us getting in to do color.
And you said that you're like kind of just like novice in kind of color, right? Do you feel like this has been a hard learning curve to get to the level that you are now?
I felt like when I first looked at this, I was a little overwhelmed just because it was so different from what I was used to. And then after spending an hour in it, I was like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
We're going. And then by like the second day, I loved it, especially the operators.
Oh, so is that how you refer to the left hand side as the operators?
Yeah, these are called operators and these are called tools.
Operators and tools. We're
These are kind of new
increasing our
vocab words.
terminology.
So I'm just kind of going through clip by clip, making adjustments as I see fit. Like this is obviously underexposed.
I love just the visual, honestly, of like scopes. Um, like they look so great. They make me always feel like a data scientist in some weird way to be like, yo, yeah, look at the graph. Da, 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 da. When in reality, it's just color on like a spectrum or values on a spectrum.
Well, it is crazy too. Sometimes you look at an image and you're like, is it underexposed? I can't even tell. And then you click on this and you're like, oh, it's clearly, I mean, this particular clip is actually perfectly exposed, but sometimes it's like, yeah, it's clearly underexposed. Then you know what
Yes.
to do.
Sometimes it makes you feel stupid. You're like, I
Yeah.
can't figure that out with my eyes, but that's why it's there because it's important. And you can't always just trust the naked eye. It's important to be able to uh, switch it up. So right there, what you just did in that moment, when things were kind of flickering black and white, what was happening?
So I first started with a global adjustment, bringing the exposure up a little bit. And then I noticed like, well, I like how the clouds are looking, but there's still a little bit of dark areas in her hair. So I switched over just to the shadows and then I bumped those just a little bit.
And so when it's doing that flickering, it's just kind of showing you what is going to be affected in the way that like we were looking at selection earlier, right?
Yeah. So anything that it grays out or blacks out is not going to be affected. Only
Got
the areas that it left in color will be affected.
brilliant. And just
Cool.
being able to have that kind of hover state to quickly be able to then see what you're working on very easily is very helpful. Because in previous iterations of other adjustments, I would always go into a slider and just like, for example, selective color in Photoshop, I'd go and I just like take the slider and it was like, and like just see what flickers on screen. So to be able to just
Yeah.
hover and get that is much better.
Yeah. You're not really guessing anymore.
Yeah.
So here's a quick tip. So I liked bumping the saturation in this clip to try to get a little bit more out of the sky,
Hmm.
but then it brought out some red and pink in her face, which is not accurate. So we're going to sample that color.
And that's
So
just
it
with like the
found this
eyedropper
red,
tool.
yeah, the eyedropper. And then we can just selectively bring down the saturation of those reds. And now her face is evened out again.
Because that's something you're always going to kind of run into, especially when you're pumping any warm things. Like it's always going to have an effect on all skin tones. Like it's
Yeah,
going to push that. And so there are some things like vibrance in other programs, but being able to specifically say this is a face color right here, that's really helpful. I'm also seeing Tim is in the chat saying it took me a while to understand how the waveform monitor works. Yeah, but it's one of those things. It's like once you connect all the dots, it's exciting to then be able to look at it and be able to understand what you're looking at.
yeah, it takes a minute. So maybe we could go over the scopes real quick. So saturation, this is a vector scope. We can see each hue around the circle. And then in the center, we can see the data. So the further it out, those little tiny dots are towards the edge of the circle is the more saturated that color is. And the blue circle is what my mouse is doing. So it's bringing it in and out to increase saturation or to decrease it.
Oh, so that's your cursor signifier. It's like you are the one that's kind of like pulling and contracting and expanding that, and then it's adjusting the data that is inside of that circle.
Yeah. And what's worth noting is when I first started using color mode, I kept trying to click and drag and was getting all confused. What it wants you to do is click, release, go up or down to make your adjustment, then click again to get out.
Oh, so you're clicking into it. Then it's like, okay, this is what we're focusing on right now. Click again once you want to get out. So
Exactly.
it's a 2-click system. That
Yeah.
way you don't
So
have to
that,
like hold down for your life while you're, making adjustments.
yeah, because I kept holding down and then it was just glitching out. So I finally realized what it wants us to do here, which makes a lot of sense.
Also, Reverb Mike's talking about the use case of vector scopes, being able to figure out when skin tones are correct, which is a great tip. Thanks for that, Mike. Um, and Mike, yeah, I know that you're doing lots of video stuff all the time. So if you have any questions specifically about it that you want to know before you hop into it, please let us know. And streams on Adobe Live are always for everyone. So if you have a super beginner question or a super advanced question, we'll do our best to see what we can answer. And it's something is useful to everyone. So by all means, throw it in the chat and we're happy to help you out. Yeah. Also, would love to know. I know we still have the fairies existing poll still going on, but also would love to know what everyone is drinking. Let me know if you're drinking a beverage and what it is. If you are, I have an iced coffee because it's finally warm here in Brooklyn.
Nice.
So I've switched over to the ice faction of coffee now.
I am in need of another coffee.
Got that Colorado coffee, which is good. There's some really good coffee shops when we're out there. There's one that looks like kind of like a gas station that we go to a lot in Denver.
There's
I'll
a new
send it to you.
one in Lakewood called Mountain Milk that I highly recommend.
Mountain milk. Can't
Yeah.
start my morning without my mountain milk.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then now we're just going through, you're sampling some highlights and stuff. Can you actually quickly go back to that module that you just selected the eyedropper from?
Yeah.
Because we have a
so-
few different options here, right?
Yeah. So let's say you clicked on your operator for adjusting at the clip level. You got your global adjustment selected. That's what that white line means. So you can bump the contrast or whatever. But then it's like, okay, these highlights are clearly blown out. We're going to add a highlight zone. So I click the plus. Could sample it and click it to be really specific, but we can just go ahead and do a highlight zone. It'll be smart. And then as we hover over this, we can see, okay, it's affecting everything that's not black. So that's the sky. So perfect. Don't even need to mask.
And in the chat, we have some black coffee. McKenna's having an iced coffee. There's also some water. Reverb Mike says coffee first, then oxygen. Hey, I mean, that sounds like mountain milk to me.
Yeah.
Sean is also saying hello. So good to see you, Sean. Sean, I know you're more of a photo guy than a video guy, but interested to see if maybe this is something that you'll end up kind of falling into, as you know, there's some pretty good video stuff on cameras, like, you know, traditionally shoot ones. So Nate is asking one more time what operators are. So that was what we were talking about earlier with the guys on the left here. So this is all new terminology.
Yeah.
So yeah, we want to make sure that if you guys have any questions about it, feel free to ask. But one more time, what is operators?
So operator is a clip adjustment, clip style, or LUT. And they are applied over here in these three columns at the clip level, group level, or sequence level. So when we want to add contrast to a clip, we would say add clip adjustment. So we actually already have one here. So now they're doubled up, but we could like go crazy and do a level of contrast and a second level of contrast. Each of these, it would be an operator.
Now I'm gonna have Jim Crow stuck in my head of operator. Is it Crow? Crows? Operator, can you help me place this call? I feel like that's kind of Colorado-y, right? No, maybe not.
I don't know.
Okay, I'll send it to you. It's some good like drive around the mountains music, but it's called Operator, and I probably will sing it every single time I use this now.
Awesome. You should. This is a really cool
also
shot.
Sean saying this is a great update. He's excited about it. I know we've only got about like 5 or so minutes left here, which then right after this, we have some more video stuff coming up right for you. If you guys aren't members of the Adobe Live Discord, you can always access the schedule there. So make sure you hop into that. It's going to be with Pixie Pew, also known as Ray Belvedere. And we're going to have Paco, who is actually also part of AV, which is what we're talking about at the top of the show. And they'll be doing that for the hour after this. Then we have the Space Case, building an art licensing collection with Jess Goldsmith and Emily, followed by On the Spot later in the day. Tomorrow we have a TikTok. This has actually changed, and it will be me. So I will be on TikTok for you guys tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 o'clock Eastern. And then we have an EDU stream at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So a little something for everyone. And make sure you guys stick around because we got plenty more to get through today, which is fun.
Nice. So I guess we'll just end with one last suggestion. Say you do want to use some creative LUTs that you've collected over the years. Where would that go? Because we have our conversion LUT that's taking it from LogDirect 709. So let's add another LUT.
LUT it up.
Lookup table. So I have a big collection, but I'm just going to grab one in here.
So many.
Let's
Wow, no
do-
kidding. You have folders, and in each folder you have like 100.
Yeah, you can find tons of these online. Okay,
And they're
so
good for
this
consistency
applied.
with the project.
Yeah, this is like an overall vibe look thing that you would do at the end. You could design this yourself, or if you're in a rush, you could use someone else's, like we're doing right now. Once you apply the LUT, you can click this intensity. Say it was like it's nice, but a little bit too much. We can drag it down. So now we're at 0, and then we can just bring it into taste.
And is this the same thing where you're clicking and then you're moving your mouse and you're clicking again to get out of it? Or is that specifically just for
That's
the other one?
that's for this one as well.
Okay. So it's universal, like user experience of how you're interacting with this new setup is like, just remember it's click in to click out.
Yep.
Just
All of these
important.
tools are click in, click out. And then we can just turn this on and off, see what it's doing. This is just a subtle adjustment, but that's what we're going for at this point. We're just going for the subtle final touches.
Wow. It's crazy how quickly color just changes. Like it'll look like one way and you'll be making minor adjustments here, there, and like setting the foundation for stuff. And then boom, like then once you apply a certain edit to it, it just all comes together. I know we were shooting for whimsy here, and I think that this is really kind of getting there. Like looking even in the top right with the crawling through that um,
Yeah.
weird. So is that's man? That has to be man-made, right? Like that's someone carved out a hole in the middle of a rock, right?
Yeah, supposedly crawling through this rock gives you luck or makes your wishes come true. But you have to
Oh.
crawl through in the rain and the puddles.
Did you make a wish and crawl through?
Uh, I filmed people making a wish and crawling through. You know what is cool though? So there's a wishing chair in Ireland, and we all sat down and made a wish. And my wife wished that we would have a baby, and we just had a baby. So,
Congratulations. That's awesome.
I mean,
So it worked. And then you wish to be on Adobe Live with Ryan Selvey, and look, here we
and
are.
here we
It's
are,
already
wishing
here.
chair.
Wishing chair. A baby and stream with Ryan. They're on the same level of importance.
Yeah, it's been great. So I'm just quickly showing where we started at the beginning of the stream and where we ended.
And how are you cycling between those two?
So I just shift clicked on our operators, so they were all selected, and using the eyeball toggle to just turn them all on and off. So, and then you can see all these groups are turning on and off together. Everything's looking pretty cohesive. I think we could probably take it even further, make it more whimsical. We could maybe add some noise, some filmic contrast. That would be a later step. But the point is that as non-color professionals, we just got from a edit in log to a pretty acceptable place. I mean, we could
I
keep
love
going through
the
fine
boots
tuning,
shot. The
render.
orange coming out on the boots is really pretty. And then the orange also in like yeah, like that feels magical. That feels real cool.
Yeah.
It's just nice at it. And like
Yeah.
as you guys noticed, we weren't even looking at that clip. Like that clip was just referenced in the film strip of the side because we had our operators and we were able to then be able to make kind of mass adjustments to then be able to adjust everything. And then when we come to visit again, it's already done for us.
Yeah, I think that's the huge takeaway is exactly what you just said. And I mean, we just color graded a 2-minute trailer and, I guess this was an hour stream, but we were like talking about each thing. You could have done this in 20 minutes. So it's pretty fast.
And so I am quite crippling on the time front of people's productivity because I'm a big gabber. And even through that, you were able to still get through and adjust a lot. With that in mind, are we able to kind of check out where everything landed?
Yeah, should we watch it?
Yeah, let's do it.
In a time where things can be a little dark and depressing, this idea of there are beautiful, wonderful things in nature. I was looking for that spark, and to me, that spark is magic. And so I already had fairies on the brain. People are talking about it. People believe in it. People are open to sharing. And so I was like, okay, it's time to explore. And of course, this was before I learned all of the things about what fairies actually are. you see the landscape and you understand magic. There's something else going on here. I think we all need magic. Maybe that's the lesson. Maybe that's what I'd confront. Maybe that's the point of this whole experience. I had to redefine myself. And that's the first time where it went from like what I'd read or what I'd seen to actually breaching to trying to make a connection.
All right, cool.
And so you said that this comes out later this year, right?
Yeah, we have not announced the release date yet, but if anybody's interested, search Faye Folk, a search for connection on Instagram, on YouTube. You can actually watch how the final version of this trailer came out, which is quite a bit different than what we did today, but that's the cool thing about color grading. There's so many different styles you can achieve. As we watched that, I was like, oh yeah, we didn't really get around to the drone clips, and there's some things we'd want to go through and do, but I think the FX3 shots turned out really cool already.
No, if anything, what it really helped me realize was I was like, wow, okay, so this is giving me like kind of like a side-by-side comparison of being like, okay, this is where we were and this is where, like you could tell which clips had been edited because you're like, wow, like these ones look great and the other ones like still kind of look like they're kind of like lower on the contrast setting.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, she also stuck her full hand in that puddle. She said, okay, she said, doing it for the luck.
Yeah.
Like unapologetic, not even like to the side of it. Like that is straight down the middle.
Yeah, she's awesome. She totally committed to this adventure, and I think everyone's going to get a real kick out of watching Michaela travel through, searching for the Fae.
Oh, I'm definitely looking for it. As we were talking about earlier, we've got Pixie Pew coming up next, guys, so make sure you guys stick around. As far as where we can find your work and where to watch next, Colton, where should we keep an eye on?
Yeah, if you want to check out my company, AV Creative, you can go to avcreative.com, AV Creative on Instagram. That's AVEY, AV.
And that's high impact video design.
Yep,
right?
Exactly.
So we've got a website up here.
We're happy to connect with everybody. If you have any questions, just let us know. And yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for hosting, Ryan. It's been awesome. Yeah. Hope everybody's excited about color mode.
I hope everyone's excited about fairies. We've got 78% of people saying that fairies exist, and 22% of people have no fun in their life. So with that in mind, we're going to go ahead and we're going to kick it off to Pixie Pew and Paco. So another AV's in the house today, everybody. Also, AV helps us out a lot with different social content for Adobe Live. So these are the heroes behind the scenes. So big thank you to them. Wonderful. Can't recommend them enough. But thank you so much to Colton. It's been a really good time, and we'll talk again real soon.
Yeah, we'll see ya. Have a good day.
Oh, I do realize also that I need to also, I want to play right maybe in the transition here, just a quick video of kind of this this reveal that we have, or this new color mode, and then we'll kind of have that play us out, and we'll go from there. So real quick, gonna pull that up, and then I will get you off screen, if it will load for me. So we can just like look at each other and smile, and then also run into Paco's stream. Maybe I can just play it straight from here, can I? Yes, I can. All right, so that's what we'll do. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Share my screen one last time, and then right as this ends, we're going to end the stream, and we'll go from there. So. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. See you over on the next stream. Bye.